Happy Monday morning, everybody. As you all are coming in, tell me your locations in the comments. Tell me your locations in the comments. King Works 21, good morning. First comment, congrats. Ron Lilly Foundation checking in from Uganda. Shout out to the Instagram commentators coming in early. As y'all are coming in, shout yourselves out in the comment section. We are live on Rumble. Good morning, Rumble. Live on YouTube. Good morning, YouTube. Let's check and see if we are live on X. Looks like we are. Let me check. Let's see. Yes, we are live on X. Good morning, those watching on X. We are live on Facebook. Good morning, Facebook, and live on LinkedIn. My name on LinkedIn, X, Rumble, and YouTube is at Dre All Day. My name on Facebook is Work on Your Game University. We are live on Instagram, Kingworks Tuscaloosa, live on Instagram at Dre Baldwin, live on TikTok at Work on Your Game. So the topic here today is Michigan football coach got fired. There's a couple other things I'm going to point out before we get into this exact topic here today. A couple things. But let me shout out a few people over on TikTok first. Linda Gale, 1935 from St. Louis. Good morning. Scott Young, 758. Good morning. Dwayne Mitchell, Detroit is in the house. Karen Ann Collins, I think that's Newburgh, New York. I've seen it enough. I think that's Newburgh, New York. Carol Ann Collins, good morning. Leah, thank you for the heart early. Ron Johnson from Lima, Ohio. Can we get the likes up, please, folks? We're at 235 likes. I've never seen a number that small before. Can we get the likes up? Everybody who is watching on TikTok, can we please get the likes up, please?
Have some more chicken. Have some more pie. It doesn't matter if it's boiled or fried.
More likes, please, over on TikTok. Let's get at least to 1,000 as I start shouting out people. Ron Johnson, Lima, Ohio. Barbie 0007, good morning. Carol Ann Collins, good morning. Leah checking in from Tifton, Georgia. Thank you for the Go Popular. BBS, keep it simple, silly, checking in from Texas. Suzanne Freeman Burge from Daytona Beach. Shout out to Daytona Beach. Jay Rocker, good morning from Delaware. Barbie tuning in from Florida. Good morning. L. Johnson from Union, New Jersey. Nikki checking in from Connecticut. So a couple things that I got to make sure we put on the record. I don't know if all of you heard about it, but did you all hear the announcement from Erica Kirk? Did y'all hear this announcement coming out from Erica Kirk? I think this came out super early this morning. I think it was super early this morning. This announcement came out. Did any of you hear it? Do y'all know what I'm talking about? Give me a yes or a no if you heard the announcement from Erica Kirk that just came out. Came out at 8 o'clock. No, last night. She put this out at 8 o'clock last night, 12 hours ago. Y'all didn't hear this announcement? Okay, so the announcement is, I'm going to read it straight from Erica Kirk's Twitter or X. Erica Kirk says the following. I'm reading right from her X. It says 8.4 million impressions. So many of you didn't know this happened last night. I just saw it this morning. Erica says, Candace Owens and I are meeting for a private in-person discussion on Monday. That's today, December 15th. Candace and I have agreed, this is important, public discussions, live streams, and tweets are all on hold until after this meeting. I look forward to a productive conversation. Thank you. This got 8.4 million views. This came out at 8 o'clock last night, so it's been about 12 hours. 67,000 likes, 10,000 comments, 8.4 million views. This just came out last night. So I predicted, I gotta put something out here that I made a prediction that I think my prediction may end up being wrong now that this meeting is occurring. I predicted that Turning Point USA was going to sue Candace Owens for defamation. Now that this meeting is happening, I think that may keep that defamation lawsuit from happening if they're able to come to an amicable agreement. I think two females, if they are both trying to figure out, or they're both grieving the loss of Charlie Kirk, a friend and a husband and a father, and they both want the best for what Charlie was trying to do. If we're going to assume the best from both of them, then I'm going to assume that lawsuit is not going to occur. Now, we'll see what happens from this meeting. I'm pretty sure Erica's going to say something. I'm pretty sure Candace is going to have something to say about this meeting as of the end of the day today, hopefully. And Turning Point USA was supposed to do that live stream, live from their Phoenix studio, with all the people that Candace has been outing or talking about or accusing or finger pointing, whatever you want to call it. They're supposed to do that today. Now, Erica, she's the CEO over there. So she said all discussions and live streams and tweets are on hold until after the meeting. So I'm assuming that live stream is not going to happen. So we'll see what happens here today, what announcements get put out, and maybe this will be the topic tomorrow. So we'll see. That is not the topic today, but that's what Erica Kirk said. Candace Owens quote tweeted this and said, "I am very much looking forward to this discussion." And she put the prayer hands, not the prayer hands, but the praise hands. Hers got 3.1 million views, 48,000 likes, 7,000 comments. So this all happened again just last night. Candace put this out like 7 minutes later. So this is where we're at as far as the Turning Point USA Candace Owens drama. That's not the topic here today because technically there is no drama. Candace didn't put on an episode on Friday, and Turning Point was supposed to do their whatever you want to call it, calling Candace out today. That's not going to happen, it looks like. So that's where we're at. Topic we are going to talk about is the football coach at the University of Michigan got fired last week. Did y'all hear about this story? This is a sports-related story. So the football coach at University of Michigan was this black guy named Sharon Moore. He was the first black head coach ever at University of Michigan, probably suggested by his former boss, Jim Harbaugh. Was it Jim Harbaugh or John Harbaugh? I get them two mixed up. But Coach Harbaugh, he left. He go to the NFL. He suggests, hey, make my assistant coach the head coach. He had a $5.5 million a year salary. And he was coaching one of the biggest brands in college football. Michigan is one of the biggest brands in all of college football, even when the team is not super great. The team's not super great right now. They're good, but they're not up to their standards of competing for a championship every year, at least not right now. Right now, he's not right now, but he got bailed out. He was sitting in county jail. And what happened here was this is kind of a trapped in the closet type of story. There's a whole lot of things happening here. And this all happened in the span of a few hours when I was first gathering this information. We've learned a little bit more since, but not that much. So the official story is that Mr. Moore got fired for an inappropriate relationship. That's the official language, quote unquote, inappropriate relationship he had with a staff member, which is when you're in a position of power working in a bureaucratic organization. And by the way, colleges and universities, especially in the United States, are huge bureaucracies. When you're working in a bureaucratic organization, the person who has the power, you are not allowed to have a intimate relationship, like a, let's say, sexual relationship with someone who is on the staff, because you have more power than they do. And this is looked at as, because you have more power than them, then you could be coercing them into doing stuff that they really don't want to do, but they're doing it because you have the power. In other words, you can't have sex with someone on your staff if you're the boss. You're not allowed to do that. And if you do it, you can get fired for that. And they call this getting fired with cause. And when you get fired with cause, that means they can void the rest of your contract, even if it was a quote unquote guaranteed contract, which is what happened to this guy. So he got fired for cause. And again, it was because of an inappropriate relationship with a female staffer. Now, it has come to be known, and most people have accepted this as truth. I don't think the woman has actually said it herself, but we're going to go with it, that his executive assistant was the woman. Now, Sharon Moore, it should be noted, is a black man. Sharon Moore is married, and he has 3 kids. He's not married to his executive assistant. He's married to a different woman and has 3 kids with that woman. And he has an executive assistant who is actually, his wife is a white woman as well. His executive assistant is a white woman, and he's allegedly had an improper relationship with the executive assistant. And somehow the University of Michigan found out. According to some people, this was known for a long time, and they didn't do anything about it. But now they decided, let's get rid of this guy. We need a reason to get rid of him without having to pay him the rest of the money. So we'll just use this thing that we already knew about, that we didn't do anything about before. We're going to use it now to get rid of him. This is what is being said by people who are very much in the know in what happens in the college football world. Now, all of us, we all know this surface level stuff that I'm talking about here. He got fired for this. Now, what happened the same day, he is at home. He finds out he got fired. He travels to the home of the executive assistant. This is the woman that he had been having the inappropriate relationship with. Now, according to some, this woman was also pregnant. I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe some of you know. And if you heard this executive assistant, the improper relationship woman, is she pregnant or is she not pregnant? I heard people throwing that out there on the internet last week, but I don't know if that's actually confirmed or not. Again, I haven't heard this woman speak. The woman, he goes to her house, the executive assistant. And according to what I've heard, he says to the woman that he is going to take out in the life of both her and himself, because he was saying to the woman that you have caused me to lose everything and you're ruining my life, according to reports. So he goes to the woman's house. This did happen. He did go to the woman's house, and he did break into the woman's house. Those things definitely happened because he got arrested for that, or at least allegedly. Excuse me. I can't say definitely. Allegedly, he broke into the woman's house, and he was threatening the woman with, he grabbed some butter knives He was threatening her with a butter knife that I'm gonna, and I guess he's a big strong guy. So with a butter knife, you can inflict serious damage with a butter knife. He takes the butter knife and he is threatening to take out her in her life with the butter knife, and he's threatening to end his own life with the butter knife. And his reasoning is, if you want to call this reasoning, is that you are destroying everything that I have. I'm losing everything. You're the reason. He's blaming the woman for it in a fit of emotional outbursts. Now, his wife back at home, she has, for whatever reason, the tracking of her husband's location on the phone. Now you can track somebody else's location on the phone. By the way, all due respect to all the husbands and the wives out there, do not allow anybody to track your location on your phone. That's crazy. All right. I don't want nobody's tracking my location on my phone. I don't care who you are. But his wife had the location tracked on her husband's phone. So after he leaves the house, I don't know what that conversation was, she realizes that he is at the girlfriend's house, the executive assistant's house, the one he's having an inappropriate relationship with. She tells authorities that that's where he's at. The authorities go over there and they find him over there and they get this story. Again, this is all allegedly, ladies and gentlemen. And then they arrest him for breaking and entering and trespassing or whatever it is he got arrested for. He got arrested for all of that stuff. He did get released on bail. I think he had enough money. And this is a detention after that disturbance. And the unofficial story, again, is darker. This is an unofficial story because, again, I haven't heard anything from the woman. At least maybe some of you have. I have not. Now, they say there are allegations of an affair. I think it's pretty clear there was an affair. They fired him already. Allegedly, she was pregnant. Does anybody know if she was pregnant? I'm waiting for, I wasn't looking in the comments when that happened. Was the executive assistant pregnant? Any of you know if it's actually confirmed? I know people said it, but I don't know if it's confirmed. Is the executive assistant pregnant? Does any of you know for sure a yes or a no on that if she's pregnant? J-Rock is saying unconfirmed. Yeah, that's as far as I got, is that it was unconfirmed that she was actually pregnant. But they do know that they were having a relationship. Now how they actually know, we're going to get to it in a second. DNG says she was pregnant. He paid for abortion. Do you know that? Is that verified, or did you hear that from the streets? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Did you hear it? Is that hearsay? Is that from the streets, or is that verified? All right, the streets means hearsay. It makes it an interesting story if it's from the streets, but it doesn't mean it's true. DNG said that's law firm evidence. So the law firm that they hired to do the investigation, you're saying, DNG? Okay, we'll put that enter that into the record. I can't verify that, but this is what's being said. So they say affair, pregnancy, and abortion, as you just said, hush money via a big raise. I did see that the woman's salary was like $58,000 a year for like 2 years. As his executive said, she was a $58,000 a year salary. Then the next year, her salary bumped from $58,000 to $90,000 a year. And some are saying that this was hush money, or it was maybe because he just liked the girl, so maybe he just gave her more money. But she got a nice little salary bump while still working with this guy. And again, then the knife wielding breakdown. Again, butter knife, after he lost his job. Now, a lot of this is not confirmed, but the pattern is clear. Person in power, sex got involved, not a good thing at your job. Secrecy is involved, also not a good thing at your job. And a man whose off-field decisions have now detonated his career, possibly his family. We don't know. Haven't heard from his wife yet. And his reputation, absolutely. All this happened in real time. That's where we're at right now. That's the topic here today. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dre Baldwin. Many know me as Dre all day, former 9-year pro athlete, author of a few books, done a few TED Talks. I run this company called Work on Your Game Incorporated. You can learn more about me by just going to the link in my profile or sending a text message to my number, which is 305-384-6894. That's the best thing you do is just text me at my number, 305-384-6894. I do not read comments on most of these apps. I do not respond to most direct messages. My assistant looks at a few of them, but not all of them. If you want to reach me, the best way to do it is to text me. My number is 305-384-6894. It is listed in my bio on all of these apps. I'm not going to mention anything else. The TikTok is giving me warnings about mentioning products for sale. So I'm not going to mention anything for sale, even though I got a lot. So let's get into this topic. Now, Michigan fired this guy for cause, as I said, with no buyout. So any of you follow college sports, especially football, where all the money's at, is if a coach gets fired, let's say you get fired just because the team's not good enough. So he just fired you. Like the coach at LSU, he just got fired. What's this guy's name? Brian Kelly. He gets fired at LSU last month or a few weeks ago, and they owed him a whole lot of money. And they were trying to find a reason to fire him for a cause. And if they fire you for a cause, this is all these technicalities that they play games with. If they fire you for a cause, that means whatever amount of money is left on your contract, they don't have to give it to you because they have a reason to fire you that you breached the contract. So Sharon Moore, that's the black coach at Michigan, or was, if you have an improper sexual relationship with someone on your staff, you breached the contract, which means whatever's in that contract, we don't owe you another dollar. This guy was owed another about $12 million on his contract. And that's a lot of money. $12 million is a lot of money. I don't care how much you got. Now, this guy at LSU, Brian Kelly, his was more. His was like 50. They owed him a lot of money. And they tried to fire him for cause. And then Brian Kelly called his lawyer. LSU called their lawyers, and they battled a little bit. But it turns out they got to pay him his money. They got to give him all that money. So they fired him. So this guy's about to get paid $50 million and not have a job. He could just retire. But I think he's going to go work again, and he'll get the money from his new job, gets offset. So whatever they owe is offset by whatever new job he gets. It's all in the contract details, but this is how it works in these big bureaucratic organizations. It's not just in football. This works in other places as well. We're talking about it in football. So no buyout for this guy. The same day they finished the internal investigation. So what happened here, according to what I've read, is that Michigan, the University of Michigan, got word that there was an improper relationship happening. They heard that something was happening, but they didn't know. So they hired an investigative firm, and the law firm started doing an investigation to find out what the hell was going on. Now, I don't know why they need to hire a law firm for this. What they could have did was call Sharon Moore into the office and say, hey, are you having an improper relationship with someone? Are you having sex with someone on the staff? Maybe they could have just got a yes or no answer from him then. Maybe they tried that. Maybe he said no. Or then they could have called the girl and said, hey, are you having a relationship with the boss? Maybe they tried that. Maybe she said no. Maybe they tried the easy part. That's the easiest way to do an investigation. Maybe they tried that. They end up hiring this law firm. The law firm does an investigation. Again, I don't know how much investigating you got to do. Are you having sex with the girl? Yes or no? Anyway, they found out. Shout out to that law firm. They went and got paid to do that. I could have did that for them very cheaply. Just give me some phone numbers, some email addresses, and some social medias. I would have figured it out pretty quick. But again, I digress. They end up finding out that there is a relationship. So the school believes they have enough documentation to defend it in court and in public. So what I just said is kind of, I'm being facetious, it's tongue in cheek, because the coach, Sharon Moore, of course, he can hire a lawyer. He's making $5 million a year. That's enough to hire a lawyer. And he can sue them and say, hey, y'all owe me $12 million. University of Michigan is saying, no, we don't owe you $12 million because you breached the contract. And Sharon Moore's lawyer is going to say, okay, prove it. And that's why they had the investigation. They need to do the investigation so they have everything documented so they can prove beyond a reasonable doubt, or maybe more likely than not. I don't know exactly what the way would be for this. They would have to prove, yes, he did have an inappropriate relationship, and here's the proof that he had it. It has to be all documented and notarized and like official. That's the reason why they had to hire the investigators. So just making a phone call would not be enough in that case, just so y'all understand the joke. So now that's where it's at. And Sharon Moore is probably not going to get any more of his money, but he did make $5 million a year. I mean, he did make $5 million. I mean, he ain't going to be sleeping in a cardboard box, or maybe he will. But depending on that, if he gets divorced, he might be in a cardboard box. But I digress. So this indicates they found clear policy violations, not just rumors or gray area behavior. And again, this all has to be documented when you're dealing with bureaucratic organizations. Everything has to be documented. Now, the school language, they say it is credible. They have credible evidence of an inappropriate relationship with a staff member. That was the official word when I saw the breaking news on Thursday or Friday last week when this came out. This is HR code for what they call a power imbalance situation. All y'all know what a power imbalance situation is in HR? Any of you ever worked in a bureaucracy? And by the way, if you work at a company that has an HR department, you work in a bureaucracy. Okay. Any of you work in a bureaucracy? If your company has an HR department, it's a bureaucracy. It doesn't have to be the government. It doesn't have to be some huge corporation. It doesn't have to be a university or a college. If there's an HR department, there's anybody there with the title that says human resources, you work in a bureaucracy. Okay. So remember Jeff Foxworthy back in the day used to have that thing called "You Might Be a Redneck." Okay. If you work in an organization that has anybody with the title HR, you are working in a bureaucracy. Now, in an HR department, they say you can't have power imbalance situations. This is specifically made for men in power working with women that they may be interested in. And it's a tricky thing. I understand why they do it, because especially in the world that we have today, when you had the whole Me Too movement and you had the feminism movement and you have the assaults of a sexual nature type of things coming up in charge all the time. And companies want to cover their asses to make sure they don't get sued for allowing certain things to happen. And somebody coming back 2, 5, 10 years later and saying, hey, I was coerced into a relationship that I didn't want to be in. You got like the Harvey Weinstein type of things, P. Diddy type of things. So I understand companies have to cover their asses. So they basically created a rule. Long story short, if you're a man, you can't have somebody who's subordinate to you. You can't be in a relationship with someone who's subordinate to you at the same job. You can't do it. You're not allowed. Either you got to quit and then start dating her, or she got to quit and then y'all start dating. But y'all can't both be working there and in a relationship. That's inappropriate, even if both of you want to do it. Now, some of you tell me what's the rules on that, because I know there are some organizations where if you report the relationship and say, hey, HR, hey, bosses, I'm the boss, this is my subordinate, but we are in a relationship together and it's consensual and we both want to be in it, and we'll sign documents that say, hey, we'll never sue you for et cetera, et cetera. They still allow that? Are you still allowed to do that if you just declare the relationship? It's cleared. Is that a thing? Y'all let me know. Those of you who work in bureaucracies. I'm not much for bureaucracies, but I know a little bit about how they work. Is this allowed still, or is it just red line? You can't do it no matter what. What's the code on this? Lulu said, "Thou shalt not dip thy pen in company ink." Yeah, pretty much. So, are you allowed to declare it? Any of you ever heard of this? Are you allowed to declare it? So, Big Mike said, as long as it's reported. Jovi said, depends on company. So, every company does different. Okay, fair enough. If you declare it, you can do it. That's what I thought. And I thought if you and the person go to the company and go to HR and y'all sign some documents and you say, hey, everybody, the whole world now knows we're dating. You got to announce to the world. You got to basically make it HR official. So now they had Facebook official. If you're dating, you have to post it on Facebook, or you got to post it on Instagram that you're dating somebody. Now they got HR official. Now you got to make it HR official that you're dating somebody, and then it's okay. But if you don't tell HR and then they find out, then they can fire you and they can cut your salary and they can keep your salary. And they don't have to pay you anymore. So this is the HR code, and this is the red tape that goes on in the world that we're in today because of lawsuits. The reason this exists because of lawsuits. That's the only reason. It is not because anybody's afraid of, not because people are trying to stop assaults, not because of care for women, it's not because of believe in all women. It's because they don't want lawsuits. Huge organizations like University of Michigan or big corporate businesses, the last thing they want is a damn lawsuit. They have lawyers and they have insurance, but those things cost money. And they want to make sure they don't have to spend money on lawsuit payouts or lawyers for lawsuits. They don't want these kind of charges because it also makes them look bad PR-wise, gives them a PR black eye. They don't want this. So that's the reason why they have all this documentation. So it frames this whole thing as he was abusing his position, not just two adults making a romantic choice, even though the girl was sleeping with him. The girl didn't accuse him of assault. Everybody noticed that, right? At least not until he pulled out the butter knives last week. But all the way up to this point, the girl didn't accuse him of assault. The girl didn't say he was doing anything wrong. The girl just said, well, she didn't say anything. The girl was just dating the guy. They were dating outside of his relationship. As much as many of you may think this is a terrible thing, this happens often. And he just got caught. That's all that happened here. He just got caught. And the girl, it appears that the girl had stopped the relationship at some point. I don't know why she stopped it. Again, she hasn't spoken. And that he continued to pursue her, even though she didn't want to mess with him anymore, even though he was married with 3 kids. And again, this kind of stuff happens, folks. This is not some random anomaly. This is random because it became national news, but it's not a random anomaly. These kind of things do happen. Now, the report said the staffer was an administrative assistant. I already told you that. And again, it's the power dynamic. It makes the relationship automatically problematic, even if they said it was consensual, which clearly it looks to me it was consensual. Because again, she didn't accuse him of doing anything wrong. She just was dating him and then she wasn't dating him. Now, Sharon Moore being detained hours after this took it from a workplace scandal, which is, he got fired for messing with the staff. That would have been one thing. Then him breaking into the house and having the knives. Now, had he actually followed through on that, this would have been a bigger story. We probably would have did this last week. Instead of me talking about Jasmine Crockett, I would have talked about this on Friday. But he didn't do anything with the knives. He just got arrested and he's going to get charged, and we'll see where this goes. So this explains why the fans and media are taking the rumors. Well, it wasn't rumors. This happened because he was in court. You can see the video of him being in court. Now, police statements say that they were assisted in locating and detaining Moore because they treated him as a possible danger, because clearly he was having a breakdown when he realized that his career was over, or his job was ended. And as far as coaching, it's going to be very hard for him to get a coaching job again. A head coaching job, it may be a while. Now, this guy's not that old. I believe he's in his 30s. So he's not that old. Maybe he'll get another chance at coaching in 5-10 years. He can probably get an assistant job somewhere, maybe. The problem is Where's his family situation going to be? Because he does have a wife and 3 kids. Did she know about this? Was she cool with this situation happening? Again, some of you may think that sounds crazy. Ain't as crazy as it sounds. I've seen some things. What I'm saying is his wife may have known that this was going on and she was okay with it. Okay, you go get that on the side as long as you come home every night and the kids know where daddy's at. This happens. I don't know. I'm just speculating here. I'm just throwing things out here. I'm doing my Candace Owens, just throwing things out here right now. And doesn't mean it's all true. Doesn't mean it's not true. We don't know. The wife hasn't said anything. The woman hasn't said anything. I doubt either one of them ever say anything because the wife now is humiliated because it got found out that her husband was cheating. Now, again, whether she was okay with it or not, she might have been okay with it as long as it stayed quiet. Now the whole world knows. The general social expectation is that she didn't know. If she was okay with it, now she's going to look kind of crazy. And if she wasn't okay with it, now she looks humiliated. So either way, she loses. So she's looking bad. And who knows, if she didn't want this, then that might lead to a divorce. And I doubt this guy had a prenup. The way he was moving, how many of y'all think he had a prenup? Yes or no? Do y'all think Sharon Moore had a prenup? Give me a yes or a no in the comments. Did this guy have a prenup? My guess is he did not have a prenup. All right. This is like the Kanye West line. We want prenup. We want prenup. I don't think he had a prenup. And if she divorces him, she's taking half. And she got 3 kids. 3 kids? Sharon, you in trouble. Sharon Moore is in trouble if she ends up divorcing him and there's no prenup. So whatever he did make, cut that in half. Then taxes cut it in half again. He getting about a quarter of that. Anyway, if he gets divorced and now he don't have access to his kids, he got to pay child support. And those kids look pretty young. Child support, alimony, and just emotional distress for what he did and the fact that it was public. Yeah, I understand why he pulled out the butter knife. Y'all get what I'm saying? Y'all understand why he pulled out the butter knife? Give me a yes or a no. You understand why he broke into his executive assistant's house and pulled out the butter knife? And he said, hey, I'm losing everything. And he tried to blame her because he was having an emotional breakdown. You understand why he pulled out the butter knife? Yeah, I get it. He pulled out the butter knife. So he lost his coaching job. He got one of the biggest coaching jobs in the nation, lost that. And he lost it not because he was losing football games. He lost it. Well, he lost the Ohio State game, but he lost it because of the inappropriate relationship. So he lost the biggest job he ever had. Number 2, is going to be very difficult for him to get another head coaching job after he lost this one this way. Number 3, the executive assistant who he was messing with, she broke up with him, it looks like, not him breaking up with her. So you lost the girl you was messing with on the side. Number 4, his wife might divorce him. Number 5, ain't no prenup, so you're about to lose your money. Number 6, you still got to pay child support and alimony. Number 7, how you going to get another job? What else is he good at? Probably just this. So he got a whole lot of problems. And number 8, everybody knows his name now. If you Google his name, this is all you're going to see. So this guy got a lot of problems. I understand, given all 8 of these, I understand why he pulled out the butter knife. I'm not saying I would do it, but I understand. All right, that's why he pulled the butter knife out. So he's in trouble. All right. Sharon Moore is in trouble that's why he pulled out the butter knives. And he's going to do what he had to do. Now, it supports the idea that there were real-time safety concerns. We already know that. They're all said like OJ. Yeah, OJ, that wasn't a butter knife. I don't think what OJ did was with a butter knife. Or OJ had to be very strong and quick to have done with all that blood we saw. That wasn't no butter knife. Now, the alleged sequence. The affair, allegedly a pregnancy, allegedly an abortion, then a 55% raise for the woman. I already told you that. She went from like 50 grand to 90 grand. That's the type of patterns investigators look for when they suspect a cover-up using institutional money. So there's another thing that goes against him. Because part of the cover-up, allegedly, this is all allegedly, folks, is that he gives the raise to the woman either as, I'm doing this because I like you so much, I'm just give you more money, or I'm doing it to shut you up over this abortion, alleged abortion, because I want you to not tell anybody. So in order for you to not tell anybody about the abortion, so he gets the woman pregnant. Let's just assume the abortion happened. Let's assume the abortion thing is true. He goes in, gets the woman pregnant that he's messing. First of all, you're messing with someone outside of your relationship, outside of your marriage. Then you're doing it at work, and you're not supposed to be doing it. Then you get the woman pregnant. So this dude did 3 things that, let me see where the stupid begins. Stupid only begins at step 3. I'm speaking as a man. Okay, we have real conversation over here, ladies and men. Real conversation. Stepping outside of his relationship, that's not stupid. I'm not saying I would do it. I'm saying it happens. Okay. Step 2. You start dating somebody who you work with. All right? Most people find their relationships in their common circles, either the gym you go to, the place you live, or the place you work. Those are places we at. Gym or the third place. The third place in your life is home is the first place. Work is the second place, and the third place is wherever else you spend your time. So if you go to the gym, if you do CrossFit, if you go to Starbucks every day, if you work at some office space, that's your third place. So what's the third place you spend time at besides home and work? That's usually where people meet. Home, work, and your third place. So his second place is work. He met somebody at work and he decided to start messing with them even though he's married. Again, I'm not saying I would do it. It happens. Okay, that's step 2. Step three was he decides to, okay, he's messing with the girl. So let's assume sex is going to happen. It's biological. The only place it starts being stupid is when he has unprotected sex with the woman. That's where you went wrong, Sharon. That's where you went wrong, Sharon. Unprotected sex with the woman. All right, this is where he messed up. Can we get the likes up, please, on TikTok? I know you may be enjoying the story that I'm giving you here.
Have some more chicken. Have some more pie. It doesn't matter if it's boiled or fried.
Can we get the likes up on TikTok? Like the live, please. We do 100,000 likes here every day. I don't think he's that crazy for stepping out of his relationship. We don't know the situation. I don't think he's that crazy for dating somebody at his job. We don't know the situation. I mean, he met a girl. The girl liked him. He liked her. Game is the game, ladies and gentlemen. But you deciding to have unprotected sex with this girl outside of your relationship, that's where he became stupid. Why are you doing this? And it's not just Sharon Moore. I could give you a lot of situations of people who I know personally and things I've seen online with men. I need some of the men in the comments to answer this question. Some of the women, y'all can answer this too. Men and women in the comments. I need you to answer this question. Why do men, when you're messing with a woman who you are not trying to have as your wife, and I don't think you're trying to have a kid with her. Obviously, he paid for an abortion. Why are you having unprotected sex with a woman? Why are you doing this? Somebody explain this to me. It's not like there are 2 homeless people on the street who can't afford to buy some contraceptives. Why are you having unprotected sex with a woman? Why are you doing this? Men and women, I need you to answer this question. Why do men do this? And I put this on men because, man, if a pregnancy happens, you're the one who now has a kid to deal with. The woman has a kid too, but you're the one who inserted yourself into the woman, especially if you're a man who has some power or you have some resources. This can be used against you. And especially if you already got a situation at home and this ain't the situation at home, why would you do this? Why are you doing this? Why do people do this? I want the women to answer this question too. Terry said, why did she let him? That's a fair enough question, Terry, but I put the onus on the men. The man inserts himself into the woman. The woman lets him in. The man goes in. Why is he doing this unprotected? You already got a wife and 3 kids. What are you doing? What are you doing? Use protection. There's no paper trail, if you get what I'm saying. You don't use protection now. You leave the possibility of a paper trail open. Why are you doing this? User says addiction. I don't know. Addiction to what? Unprotected sex? I can see addiction to sex. Sex, you can use a condom. Unprotected sex? Nikki said it feels better. Yeah, that's what people say. That's it. I don't buy that excuse. It's not a good enough excuse. Turner said you turn it into an emotional connection instead of a physical connection. I get it. Turner, you're not wrong, but I'm not buying that one either. I don't like that. I don't like that answer either. I need something better than this. Tony says only way to do it. Tony, that's crazy. Joseph says selfishness. On whose part, though? They both did it. User said heat of the moment. User, in the heat of the moment, you can reach into your back pocket, pull out contraception, put it on. All right, in the heat of the moment. All right, what are we talking about? Heat of the moment? No, you come prepared. If you're a man and you know what you're going to do, you're doing exactly what you want to do. If you're a man and you know there's a possibility you're going to have sex with this woman that you don't want to get pregnant, then you prepare yourself ahead of time by carrying contraception with you. You keep it in the glove box, keep it in the car, keep it in your pocket. And so heat of the moment, I'm not buying that. Barbie said, was it confirmed? No, we're going along this path, assuming that it's true. Again, I'm doing my Candace Owens right now. Let's assume this is true. Let's go further down this rabbit hole. Assuming that this is true. Jeff said, feels better, all natural. Yes, there are risks. Yeah, you see, the amount of feels better is not equal to the amount of risk. The amount of feels better is this much. The amount of risk is this much, especially in his position. Reggie said, this guy's always single mom hunting. Who are you talking about? You or me? I think you're talking about you. TJ said, the question is, why wasn't the woman on birth control? No, nonsense, TJ. Nonsense. You don't put it on the woman. It's not on the woman. If you're a man, if I'm talking to a room of 100 men, I'm saying, if any of you ever, let's say, woman tell you have unprotected sex with me because I'm on birth control, or you need to be smacked by the man sitting to your left and then smacked again by the man sitting to your right. No, 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 no. We do not accept that. Uh, Clay DeGray said, feel better, passion activation, lends itself, no thoughts. No, I'm not buying this. Some of you men actually believe this stuff that y'all putting in these comments? No. Reggie said, peacocking books in the background. Okay, is that what you call it? Peacocking to write books? I didn't know it was peacocking to write books. I thought it was like when you had a car or something, or you take a picture in a hotel lobby, or you wear flashy clothes. Pepper says either willing or the R word. He's married. He shouldn't have done it, but it's either willing or I don't know if it's a binary like that. Is it? Let me see. I'm trying to think. Any of you have? I'm looking for somebody to give me a reasonable answer as to why they do this. Koi Keiko said men don't care because they know they can just leave. No, that's not. He can't leave. Look at where we at. We talking about it right now. Cece says she probably told him she was on birth control. Happens all the time. Stupid to believe it. Yes. Again, that's why I said if any man says, any man, you accept that a woman tells you I'm on birth control, so do it unprotected. You deserve to be smacked by the man to your left and then turn to your right and get smacked by the man on your right. All right. But no, you do not accept that. No man should ever accept that from a woman, even if she is. You be on birth control too. Your birth control is called a Trojan latex condom. Her birth control is whatever she says she got. But you're taking a woman's word, especially when you're a married man in power making $5 million a year and she's making 60. You're going to take her word? You idiot. What are you doing? He deserved to get fired just on that alone. I don't even care about the contract. I don't even care about the improper relationship and the HR rules of the University of Michigan. Sharon Moore, if you're listening to this, you deserve to get fired just for having unprotected sex with a woman who wasn't your wife, knowing that you weren't trying to get her pregnant as well, because clearly you didn't because you paid for the abortion. That was the most stupid thing that you did. The second most stupid thing you did was knowing that this could cost you millions of dollars and you did it anyway. So you did two stupid things, but the most stupid one was the unprotected sex. Anyway, Ann says to throw it a catch. You can catch the woman with a condom on. So I gotta pass on that one. Christopher said he was in love. So you can be in love using contraception. I'm waiting for somebody to give me a good answer. I haven't gotten a good answer yet. Jovi said his wife might find a protection, can't risk it. No, Jovi, what you do is before you go home, you stop at the local 7-Eleven or you just roll your window down while you're driving home and throw whatever you didn't use out the window. So his wife doesn't have to find it. He's making $5 million a year. I think he can afford an 8-pack of condoms every 2 or 3 days when he goes over to the woman's house, or he can just leave the condoms at her house. All right, so now I got to throw that one away too. Christopher said, you can't say why wasn't the woman on birth control. I don't give a damn what the woman's on. We don't accept this. And do y'all really believe these things that y'all are saying? Let me see if I can. Nikki said pull-out game. No, the pull-out game is unreliable. Nunya said put one on even if she tells you she is. Yes, that's the man's rule. That's the man rule. Any man who doesn't follow that rule, what the hell are you doing? Unless you're trying to get her pregnant. Mark said ever broke one. Well, even if you did break one, that doesn't mean you don't have one. What do you do? What does that mean? You just don't trust him ever again? I got to throw that one away too. Turner said acting on emotions. I'm assuming he was. I mean, being that he went and pulled out the butter knife, so let's assume this guy just didn't have much logical control. Dancing said these men set themselves up. Stop blaming women. Dancing calls not once here have I blamed the woman. I'm putting this all on the man. In case you didn't hear me. And said the thrill is the challenge that's exciting. The challenge of what? Having sex? You can have sex with contraception. Turner said ain't no good answer. The question is why are men having unprotected sex with women and not trying to get pregnant? A lot of women do this. Oh, Christopher said I said you can't say that. There is no excuse. Okay, fair enough. Joey said you can't make it make sense. $5 million. I don't care if your salary is $50,000 a year. You still don't make it make sense. At $50,000, you actually can afford it less because now you got to pay for a kid and you might have to pay child support. You ain't got much money to throw around. At least he got some money to throw around. She don't. Anyway, the 50 grand a year guy ain't got no money to throw around. Now, anyway, let's continue where we were. If Moore called his wife, confessed, threatened self-harm to others. I think maybe he was threatening self-harm to himself in front of his wife. I think that's why his wife called the authorities. So this emotional meltdown that this guy was having, this guy clearly not much in control of his emotions. I mean, if you really think about the situation, worst case outcome, we call this fear setting. The worst case outcome is, okay, you got fired from your job. You know you're fired. It's going to be hard for you to get another job. He can get something. He can go coach at a high school. He can do something. What else? Your wife might divorce you. That's messed up. You're not gonna have access to your kids anymore. That's messed up. But you're already dating. You're already messing with a girl outside of your relationship. So you go get another one now. At least you're single. All right, that's on the bright side. You ain't got no job. All right, so you got time on your hands. You made $5 million. So as long as he ain't spend it all, you're about to get half of that to your wife. So let's cut it in half. Let's just call it 2.5. Let's just say 2.5. Then you cut it in half again. Let's say 1.25. You still got 1.25 in your pocket. I mean, so it's like this guy's life is over. You still got 1.25 in your pocket. Now you do need to get another job because you're going to have to pay for that alimony and child support moving forward. But you still got $1.25 million in your pocket. I mean, the guy's he's not on Skid Row here. All right, so Christopher said, I don't believe a high school hires him. No, they wouldn't hire him. They just let him be an assistant. He can just walk around and help out at practice. Now he go get a job at a JUCO or something. He could get something. I mean, he was at the University of Michigan as the head coach. I mean, let's be clear. He wasn't no bum. I don't know how good of a coach he was. Maybe he wasn't even that good. But you had the head coaching job at the University of Michigan. You can go get a job doing something. I mean, a bunch of coaches have gotten fired in disgrace, and they got a job doing something. You go to a small college and get a little assistant job. You're not going to make nearly the same amount of money, but you can make something. You can make enough money to put in your pocket, enough money to pay, again, alimony and child support if it comes to that. Now, right before a bowl game, this happened. So Michigan's still supposed to play in a bowl game, and they are going to play in a bowl game. And Michigan decided to fire him now, and they chose what some call institutional integrity optics over short-term football stability. I call bullshit on this one. According to what I heard, is that they knew about this relationship a year ago. That's what I heard. Did y'all hear this? I heard that the University of Michigan knew that Sharon Moore and his executive assistant were in a relationship, inappropriate relationship, a year ago, and they didn't fire the guy because they just wanted to see how he did coaching-wise. And I also believe that if Michigan had been undefeated this season and they won all their games and they were in the top 16 and they were going into that college football playoff situation, and they what's the other thing? And they had beat Ohio State. It was a big deal. You got to beat Ohio State. They lost to Ohio State. Had they beat Ohio State and been undefeated this year, I don't think they would have fired him. What do y'all think? Give me a yes or a no. What do y'all think? What do y'all think about that? Give me a yes or a no. Had Michigan been undefeated, they would not have fired him, even though they knew about it. I don't think this is any kind of institutional integrity. That's nonsense. That sounds good. It sounds good. Institutional integrity. Darryl Terrell said I'm right. They would not have fired this man had Michigan been undefeated. They wouldn't have fired him. Because, first of all, you bring us a championship, okay, we don't care who you date. You do whatever you want on the side. And that executive assistant wouldn't have said nothing either. Everybody would have been real quiet had they won the championship and been undefeated this season. Now, when they lost that Ohio State game, it was a big game that even if your season, Michigan can go 0-10, you win the Ohio State game is a good year. All right, they lost the damn Ohio State game, and they're not that good. They said, all right, here's an easy way for us to get rid of this guy. We dropped, I believe it's about $12 million left on his contract that they would owe. We can wipe that $12 million off the books and we can get a fresh start and get a new coach. Let's go start our search and get a new coach. And Michigan is a big time job, in case any of you don't know. That's a big time job. So we're talking, who y'all think the new coach is going to be? I heard some people say Dabo Swinney from Clemson. They're going to try to recruit him. I don't know why you would move from Clemson, South Carolina to Ann Arbor, Michigan, though. I wouldn't do that. Depends on how much money they're throwing at me, but I don't know. I'd rather stay in South Carolina than go to Michigan. And football is a cold weather sport. Anyway, they're saying Dabo. Whose other names they were throwing out there? It was a couple other names. I can't remember all of them. But they're going to find somebody. This is a big time job, and there's a lot of money on this job. This is a $5 million a year job, probably minimum. Whoever it is they hire, they have a ton of boosters. They got a ton of people who throw money at the program because those people feel a sense of pride in seeing the football team be successful. And Michigan is a football school, so they got a ton of money to throw out there, and they got to find a coach quick because all the players are going to start going into that transfer portal, and you got to start recruiting your team like today. So they got to start doing this quick. So somebody's going to get a good job. Alabama's coach, what's his name? Dober. What's Alabama's coach? Dober, something like that. Yeah, they might try to get him, but I don't know. Why would you leave Alabama? I stay at Alabama personally. I would stay at Alabama rather than go to Michigan. Yeah, DeBoer. Yeah. So I don't think he would leave. I wouldn't leave Alabama to go coach Michigan. Why would you do that? I'd rather stay in Alabama personally. But again, it depends on how much money they're throwing at you. Now, you tell me you're going to triple my salary and I got to move to Michigan. Okay, I might leave anywhere for triple the salary depending on how much I was making. Now, if I'm making $10 million, you say we'll give you 30. Or if I'm making 2, you say you give me 6. I might have to think about that. It's a guaranteed contract, several years. I might have to think about that. That's life altering money, depending on how much it is compared to how much I was making. So Christopher said Kelly Dober is not going anywhere. Yeah, I don't think so either. And Tuscaloosa. So we got somebody here named Tuscaloosa. Said Kalen DeBoer has an $88 million 7-year contract. Oh yeah, he ain't going nowhere. $88 million 7-year, he ain't going nowhere. So neither would I. If I was coaching there and I was making half of that, I'm not leaving Alabama for damn Michigan. I'm not doing that. Alabama is a more solid program, and Alabama's better than Michigan right now. So why would you leave? So I don't think he's going. Alabama coach ain't going nowhere. Diaz Moma said, call John Gruden. They might. I think you're trying to joke, but I think they might. They might call John Gruden. But that's a big time job. So somebody's going to get a good job. That's a good job, whoever can get it. Now, social media is throwing gasoline on this, as we already talking about. So we don't know what's documented. Well, actually, we do know what's documented, which are a few things. And then we have all the rest of it, which we don't know yet. Now, the biggest real victims here, some say, are his wife and the 3 daughters. Now, I do think the daughters are victims because they're kids and they don't really know what's going on. I don't know yet what the situation is with the wife. Again, I've seen crazier. I don't know if I've seen crazier. This situation might be. I heard some people talking about this, that the wife and the executive assistant followed each other on social media. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean that, oh, I'm okay with you having sex with my husband because we follow each other on Instagram. No. But some are saying that, hey, she might have known about this. I'm saying it's possible. It's possible that the wife might have just, hey, what are you doing out there? My son's out on the balcony. So it's possible that the wife, well, I'm recording, son. I can't talk to you right now. It's possible that the wife might have gave her husband the green light and said, all right, do what you want. Just don't embarrass me. Don't have kids on me. Don't bring any STDs into this house. This idiot did 2 of the 3. This is why he was stupid. Again, even if she gave him a pass and said, okay, don't let anybody find out about it. Don't make it public. Don't get anybody pregnant. And don't bring any diseases into our bedroom. Just don't do those 3 things. We good, honey. He did 2 of the 3. So this is the reason why he's messing up. All right. That's the reason why he gets a stupid award for doing what he did here. So, and if the wife didn't know about it and now she's humiliated, now that's also a mistake on his part. All right. So if she didn't know about it and now she knows about it, yeah, he's in trouble. But we don't know what was happening in that situation. We probably never will. Now, from a career standpoint, this 4-cause firing and this domestic style arrest puts him in a bad situation. So is the fact that he got fired for having sex with a staff member is one thing that will set his career back a couple years. But the fact that he went to the woman's house with butter knives and is threatening to hurt her and saying you ruined everything, et cetera, as that becomes more news and everybody knows about it, that's what's really going to hurt him from getting his next job because he looks like a person who can't control himself. That's the part that actually hurts. Well, he looks like he can't control himself by having sex with a staff member on one hand, but there's a lot of men out there who have sex with a lot of stuff running around. Y'all remember Rick Pitino? A lot of situations happen with men in power just having sex not intermittently, but randomly, let's just call it, for lack of a better term. He ain't the first one to do that. But he is one of the first I ever heard of breaking into the house of the mistress and saying, hey, you destroyed everything, and holding up a butter knife like he's going to use it as a weapon. That makes him look emotionally unstable. How can we hire this guy to be a coach and lead young men? After that, it's not even the sex. It's that part that actually makes him look crazy. Now, for the program, some say this becomes negative ammo for recruiting. I say yes for players who are already committed to going to Michigan. If I was already committed to go to Michigan next year and I was going because this guy's a coach and now he got fired, now I'm reopening my recruiting. Now, hey, USC, hey, LSU, hey, Clemson, hey, Notre Dame, hey, Penn State, hey, Ohio State. I'm available again. You want to recruit? You want to try recruiting me again? I'm available now. I'm not going to Michigan anymore. If I'm a player who was already committed, then yes, this changes everything. If I'm a player who was thinking about going to Michigan, I'm still looking. I'm still paying attention. I'm keeping my options open. You know why? Because what if the next coach is Urban Meyer? What if they get Dabo Swinney? What if they get John Gruden? What if they're not getting a guy from Alabama, but what if they got whoever? If they got somebody who's even a bigger name than this guy who was the coach wasn't even that big of a name of a guy. He just got promoted because his former boss said, hire him. Now, what if they go get some outsider who's a well-known guy who's bigger than this guy? I might still go to Michigan. Michigan might become a destination place more than it is right now based on whoever they hire next. So it could be negative recruiting for people who are already committed, but not for the people who are still looking. And also, now that we got the transfer portal, there's a bunch of players who are going to leave their current school as soon as they can, and they're going to go to a different school because now it's the Wild West when it comes to transferring. You don't have to sit out anymore. Whoever gives you the most money, you could take it. Michigan has a ton of money. Michigan got a war chest of money. So I don't think this is that negative for Michigan. I think this could be great for them, actually, depending on who they hire. Now, a lot of coaches are not available now, but we'll see where they go. Now, there's still a legal gray area here. Until they put all the evidence out, we don't know a lot of this. We don't know the answers to all of this, but the press alone is bad for Sharon Moore. The facts don't matter. I've told y'all that many times already. Facts don't matter. What matters is persuasion and influence, and this item is already out there before they got anything else out there to fight against it. They're in trouble. Sharon Moore, that is. Sharon Moore and his team, meaning his agent, his lawyers, the people who are trying to get him his next job, they're in trouble because the negative press about him is already out, and it's going to be very hard to combat this. Now, this guy, according to what I read, I don't know anything about him. Never heard of him before he got fired. He sold himself publicly as a, open quote, faith, family, and culture person. That was his frame. Faith, family, and culture. Uh-oh, Sharon. Hey, I'm still recording. Why don't you come in here? Take that off of there so it doesn't fall down. So he pitched himself as faith, family, and culture, Mr. Coach Moore. So family, not so much, dude. You got caught. Even if his wife is okay with it, it still doesn't look right. Culture, well, I wouldn't give him so much a negative point on culture necessarily. Yeah, it was a butter knife, girl. It was a butter knife. And maybe the girl didn't have steak knives at her house. I don't know. And faith. And I guess not. He's committing adultery. I guess you can't give him faith. So, yeah, he's going to get a lot of backlash for this. Now, the gap between personal branding and private behavior is what people are reacting to, and this is what it is, folks. As I told you, I've seen crazier. I've heard of crazier, just with people who are not famous. And the bottom line is, again, facts don't matter. That fact that I just told you doesn't matter. What matters is how things look. And how it looks is, he said faith, family, culture, and it looks like he's violating all of that. He presented himself as this upstanding man. I'm married with kids, and look at me, I'm this family man who just wants to coach football, and he wasn't doing that. All these things make him look like a hypocrite. And this is what people are going to remember about him. That's the problem. So he has a PR nightmare on his hands if he wants to coach again. And again, what else is he good at? So that's the situation. All that said, folks, let's get into the commentary. I'm thinking, should I take a restroom break? Let me take a quick restroom break here, folks. And I'm getting a text message from the guys over at Fearless. They want me to be on the show again today at 12:25. Should I do it? Should I do the Jason Whitlock show today? Getting a text message for recording about 12 o'clock. I can do that. I'm texting them back right now. Should I do it? Yes or no? That is recording at, he's asking me 12:25. So recording at 12:25. So I'm just confirming the time. So I'm texting them back right now. Let me take a quick restroom break, folks, and then we will get to that. So in case any of you didn't know, I'm going to do it. As long as I'm available, my schedule doesn't preclude, I will do it. Jason got a nice size platform. I like what he's doing on his show. So let me take a quick restroom break. Then we're going to get to it in a second.
Put the phone down! This is for my safety. Put the phone down! This is for my safety. Put the phone down! This is for my safety. Put the phone down!
All right, let's get to it. Let's get to it. That was my soundboard. Those of you who don't know about the soundboard, I'll go through the sounds real quick for those of you who are not familiar. There are certain sounds that we use when we see certain logical fallacies happening here. Let me see if they text me. He didn't text me back yet. Certain logical fallacies as I go through the comments. I cannot read every single comment, folks, because we run out of time when I try to read every single comment, but I'm going to try to read as many as I can when it comes to the comments and the good ones. Moderators who are in here, when I get over to TikTok, y'all can just pin the good comments and I'll focus on those. But if you use the most common logical fallacy, which is the straw man. Straw man is when someone misrepresents a point and then argues against the misrepresentation of the point. That's called the straw man fallacy. If you do that, you get the strawberry cheesecake. Strawberry cheesecake. That's the most common one, but I don't always get to use that one that much. Some days I don't get to use that one that much. Now, if someone does a personal attack in place of a logical attack of the point, and instead they attack the person, that's called the ad hominem. You get this.
Is that like a personal attack or something?
That's the ad hominem. If you try to use an appeal to ridicule, in other words, you try to be funny, and you're using humor as a way to deflect from your lack of logic, that's called the appeal to ridicule. You get this.
Oh, I like your funny words, Magic Man.
If you are using a non sequitur, I use different sounds for the non sequitur. One of them is, I'm just saying, go on with that. The non sequitur means it does not follow. In other words, you make one point and then you try to connect it to another point, but there's no real connection logically between one point and the next. That's called the non sequitur. You may get this one.
Have some more chicken. Have some more pie. It doesn't matter if it's boiled or fried.
Oops. Or you just make a point that just doesn't make any sense. Then you may get this one as well. I may use this one for the same reason.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy. Okay.
If you use the appeal to emotion fallacy, we use this one a lot when I was talking about Candace Owens, and we will talk about her again. The appeal to emotion is one of our favorites.
Emotional, damn it.
If you are able to use the loaded question or the loaded comment fallacy, that's when you load up the question with the presumption already built into it, presupposition already built into it. That's called the loaded question. You get this. That sounded gun loading. If you use multiple fallacies in the same comment, anybody who is able to use 3 or more fallacies in the same comment, you get the Russell Westbrook Award for the triple double.
Oh, baby, a triple. Oh, yeah.
Then if someone's just going on and on saying a bunch of stuff that makes no sense, similar to the non sequitur, I may use the Michael Jordan.
Stop it. Get some help.
Or I may use this one. I don't know who this person is.
It's time to stop. It's time to stop, okay? No more.
Or I may use one of our new favorites, which is the one you just heard, this guy.
Put the phone down. This is for my safety. Put the phone down. This is for my safety. Put the phone down. This is for my safety. Put the phone down.
All right, so now everybody's familiar with the soundboard. Now let's get into the comments. So Girly Samurai ESQ said Mike Tomlin should reach out to Michigan. Actually, he'd be a good choice. Mike Tomlin would be a good choice. Michigan's going to reach out to him. He don't have to reach out to them. Girly said, "Did you say butter knife?" Yes, according to what I read, Sharon Moore broke into his ex-mistress's house and he grabbed butter knives. So maybe that's the first thing he saw. Maybe he couldn't find the steak knives, but he grabbed butter knives. And he was threatening to hurt himself and herself. And Girly said, "Yeah, dude, Pharaohs, yes. That is, yeah, it is an Erica versus Candace discussion. We are going to talk about that on Pharaohs. Well, they are going to talk about it. I have not gotten a confirmation back from... Yes, I got a confirmation back from the producer. So I will be on Fearless today with Jason Whitlock. So those of you familiar with Whitlock, I'll be on there today at whatever time they put it out. I usually put it out in the afternoon. We're recording in the early afternoon. They put it out in the late afternoon. So I will be doing that today. Shout out to the Jason Whitlock show for those of you familiar with it. Anyway, over on, let's see what we got commentary wise. I didn't see anything on Instagram. Let's come over here on TikTok. So the MJ one is this one.
Stop it. Get some help.
It was like an early ad he did. He still has hair in the little clip that I see. This is like an early ad he did, probably for like some type of addiction or something like that he did. And I don't know, some people grabbed the clip of it and made it into something. So I'm not reading every single comment here, folks. I'm going to pick and choose with the comments so that we don't go over time with too many comments. Our time gets stressed when I'm reading every single comment. There isn't a way to do, they don't have super chat set up on TikTok the way they do on YouTube. So if TikTok's moderators or people who work at TikTok, I'm not talking about the moderators from my streams, but people who actually work at TikTok are listening to this, and I know you are, Y'all need to come up with super chats on TikTok so that somebody can just super chat and leave a comment, and then I can just focus on those, and then I can just read the comments of the people who are giving the most support into the live. But they don't have a way for me to do that, and not a clean way, so I'm just picking and choosing for now. But I do know who the regulars are. I know who the moderators are, so I know you all's screen names, so I will prioritize you all as well. So Daryl Taylor said it feels better. Yeah, a lot of men use that's not a good enough reason. TJ said the question is we already addressed those. Let's see. Christopher said he didn't think protection. Yeah, that's his mistake. He's crazy. I don't know if he was in love, but that's crazy. Let's see. Where am I? Black Scorpio said, I know I got my own protection. Well, of course you should bring your own. Only use the woman's protection that she has at her house if you were to trust the woman, because there are things that can be done to that stuff. Let's see. You just said, and continue after an alleged abortion. Yeah, maybe, but maybe the woman was cool with it too. So who knows? Courtney, good morning. Let's see. Daryl said her sheepskin. Yeah. Let's see. JT said, mentally immature men not thinking the consequences and have irresponsible minds due to low morals. That's possible. You might be right about all that. JJ Lee said, a lot of rich men do. Rich men do what, though? Yeah, there's no good answer, like you said. Parker Invest, I think I clarified the question if you didn't hear it. No, ain't no good answer. There isn't a good answer. Either one works. You can use slang over here. That's fine. Jason said he used one. She poked a hole in it. Nah, I'm not sure that's true. I don't think that's true. Skip said, how about being a loyal husband? Yeah, how about it? But as I said, Skip, we're talking how things go. I've seen crazier than that, than what he was doing. It ain't that crazy what he was doing, honestly. Mia said, I don't think there's a logical explanation. Selfish, and he was careless. Yes, maybe selfish. We don't know what the wife's circumstance was, if she was okay with it or not, if she knew about it or not. He was definitely careless. We know he was careless because he paid for an abortion. Now, if he got her pregnant, she went and had a baby, maybe that's what he was trying to do. He was just trying to have as many babies as possible. He was on his Elon Musk game. But it doesn't look like he was on his Elon Musk. So that's why it sounds crazy. Chris said, here's an idea. Be faithful to your marriage. Yes, I understand. Mike says, has anyone ever called you Terry Silver? LOL. I never heard of Terry Silver. Who's that? Rashad said he was thinking with the wrong head. Yeah, pretty much. Bruce said, what makes you so qualified to judge these answers? The fact that it's my live stream. What you mean? That's a good enough reason. Let's see. Christopher said, you already answered that one. So some say Chris said, you think they would have fired him anyway? I say no. I say if you win enough, people forget all that. Look at Tiger Woods. What did Tiger Woods get? What was this Tiger Woods scandal? Tiger Woods didn't even break a law. All Tiger Woods did was, well, technically he broke a law, but really the scandal was not breaking the law. The scandal was he was going out, and that woman, Rachel Uchitel, was finding women for him, and he was dating her too. So he was messing with all these women outside his relationship and having all this random sex and dating women at, what was the name of that eatery that he was dating women at? What's the name of that place Tiger was having sex with the women at? I forgot the name of it. But wherever he was, he's dating all these women. Not dating, but having sex with all these random women and strippers and porn and porn stars and all these things that Tiger Woods was doing. And he got this big scandal. He goes to the PGA and apologizes. He's apologizing to his job for something that didn't even happen on the job. He didn't have any contract clause. His wife breaks up with him. He has to separate from his wife. That happened. And Tiger Woods was in all this scandal. And he basically lost his mojo when it came to golfing. And then he got injured. He was injured at the same time. He lost all his mojo. But then when he came back and started winning again, all those same fans came right back. All the endorsements came right back. All the sponsorships came right back as soon as he started winning again. If you just keep winning, then all that other stuff, people will ignore it if you're winning. If you're successful, nobody holds any of that stuff against you. Now, as soon as you start losing, they take everything they know about you and throw it in your face. Alex said Michigan would have had a booster, paid that girl off, and found her a job at a different company. Facts. Yeah, so if you have actually really good comment, I forgot about this one. So what Alex just said encapsulates what we're talking about. If Michigan had been undefeated this year and beat Ohio State and was going to they were a top seed in the playoff, Michigan would have had one of the boosters pay that girl off. It wouldn't have come out of Sharon Moore's salary. He wasn't using institutional money, which is another thing they used against him. It wouldn't have come out of Sharon Moore's budget. They would have just paid her off quietly. None of us would know about it. They would have found that girl a good job making $125K working somewhere else, and she would disappear and nobody would ever notice she existed had he been undefeated. Now, because they were losing and they lost that Ohio State game, now they embarrassed the guy, and now he's humiliated. That is the difference between winning and losing at the highest levels. And I'm not just talking sports here, folks. We're talking everything. If you're winning, they will erase and cover up and make sure nobody knows about any of the stuff you're doing. And as soon as you start losing, all that shit becomes headline news. That's how it works. And Lee said beating Ohio State would have saved them. Absolutely would have saved them. All you had to do was win the Ohio State game. None of this would have happened. Sir Philpott said he fired the assistant. That's when she gave the evidence. Is that what happened? Did he fire her? I know he fired her. But if that happened, then that's another stupid thing that he did. He shouldn't have did that. King Cam said the Commanders need a new coach. Yeah, it ain't going to be him. It ain't going to be him. Ashley Mack said Alabama had not been paying the players with highest NIL, so potentially has hurt recruitment. Yeah, well, they're probably going to start. They need to. I mean, they're still good. They got good players, but if they start paying, then they'll be even better. The thing is, with that NIL is the Wild West right now. It's a good time to be a very good college football player. That's who it's best for is the players. You can just run around and just make money. And a lot of college players are going to make more money in college than they'll make in the pros. Snow said Jim Harbaugh. Was it Jim Harbaugh? DOC, thanks for the follow. Clay said Michigan would have fired him had they gone undefeated. The epitome of moral fortitude. You think they would have fired him? I don't think so. I think we wouldn't even know about this. Oh, I see what you're saying. Harbaugh had in his contract that Moore takes his spot. Okay. Alex said, I need to see if these butter knives are that sharp. Well, a butter knife in the hand of the right person can still be a very dangerous weapon. It's a sharp enough object. You could do damage with a fork, depending on who it is, who has the fork, and who they're doing it to. So imagine him, this big black guy, and this small white chick. I think he could hurt her with a butter knife if he wanted to. Turner said they just had an early sign period. Once the coach is fired, they have 5 days. Yeah, and those players are all about to leave. That's the thing. Alex, I love the fact that he's messaging OnlyFans models during the high halftime. I heard about that. So allegedly some OnlyFans model. Of course, this comes out after he gets humiliated. This OnlyFans chick comes out and says that this same guy, this coach, Sharon Moore, during halftime of one of their games, he is sending a DM to her, asking her to do a foursome with him and like another 2 girls or something like that. At halftime of the game, he sent this text message to this girl, or a direct message to this girl who's an OnlyFans model, allegedly. I say it's interesting that this comes out. I don't know if she put it out before and nobody cared, or it just came out again or resurfaced after he got humiliated. But yeah, that's crazy. Alex says, as an image consultant, what would be your advice to Sharon Moore right now? First thing he needs to do is he can't hide. He got to come out and get out in front of this situation. So right now, he's probably has a legal situation on his hands, which is him and his agent trying to collect some of that money that was on his contract. That's the first thing he got to do is see if we can get this money. So he can't come out and admit to doing anything that would be a breach of contract, because then they can use that against him and say, well, you admitted to it. We're not giving you shit. So first thing is try to get your money. That's going to be a legal situation. He can't say much right now because he's trying to get that money. Second thing, as soon as he has that resolved, whether he knows he's getting it or he knows he's not getting it, next thing he needs to do is get out in the public and actually say something and show your face and answer questions and, like go on Oprah. I don't mean literally go on Oprah, but he needs to metaphorically go on Oprah. Not spiritually, directionally go on Oprah. Go on a podcast, go get interviewed, go talk to somebody who will ask you all the tough questions and just lay it all flat so that people know that you're not hiding. Don't hide from it. Because when you get this kind of scandal on your name, the worst thing you can do is hide and not say anything. You want to see an example of that? Look at Turning Point USA with the Candace Owens thing. Candace Owens is flaming them every day, whether you agree with Candace or not. She's going at them every day, going at their necks, crazy. And they weren't really saying anything. And it made them look stupid because they weren't saying anything. And she was better at it than they were. And now they look dumb. And now her and Erica Kirk having a meeting because the rest of the team ain't qualified to go toe-to-toe with Candace Owens. The only thing they can do is get Erica to try to stop her. So you can't let the other side run wild with the narrative. You can't let them run wild with the framing. So right now, framing wise, he looks horrible. He has to come out and speak at some point. As soon as he settles the money issue, he has to go talk. Go on Oprah or call me. I'll interview him and let's have a conversation. That's what he needs to do next. Then after that, once he does that and he looks stable and under control and can control his mindset, once that looks, he looks like a civil human being, and we find out, where he's at, where his wife's at, where his kids are at, where he's at with that girl, what he wants to do next in his career. Once all that is clear, now him and his agent can start making phone calls and give himself another job. He can get another job. I mean, you can't go from the head coach at Michigan to nothing. He can get another job if he wants one. But he has to come out and prove that he's not crazy. Right now, he looks crazy. So that's what I would suggest he do, Alex. Good question. Let's see. J Rocker said, I've seen that put the phone down video on TikTok. Guy was being pulled over by a cop. Yeah, it's a little, you can see a little tiny square of what he's doing. And yeah, it was a real thing. This guy gets pulled over. He's holding up a phone. And the cops are yelling at him to put his phone down. He won't do it. That's funny. Jeff said that Mike Tomlin leave the Steelers. No, he didn't leave, but a lot of people have been throwing out rumors that he might get fired because they haven't been winning. So did the Steelers win yesterday? I know I saw that Patty Mahomes tore his ACL yesterday. Y'all saw that? Patrick Mahomes tore his ACL. And the Chiefs lost, so they're not going to make the playoffs. Oh, so the Steelers play today. So the Steelers play the Dolphins tonight, Monday Night Football. They're 7-6. The Dolphins are 6-7. The Dolphins have surprisingly been winning. So if the Steelers lose this game, they're in bad shape when it comes to making the playoffs. So it depends. So if he gets fired, then he will be a good. He was with the Steelers. He's been with the Steelers for a long time. So let's see what the playoff picture is. Right now, the Steelers they're in fourth place. I think they're first in their division. So yeah, they're first in their division right now. Baltimore 7-7. Pittsburgh is 7-6. So one of them is going to make the playoffs. So it's just a matter of which one. And then in the rest of the AFC, you got New England, Buffalo. Buffalo just beat New England last night. New England, Buffalo definitely making it. Jacksonville's making it. Looks like Houston's going to make it. Indy might make it. Denver's making it. Chargers might make it. So in the AFC North is either Pittsburgh or Baltimore. Only one of them is making it. So if Pittsburgh wins tonight, they put themselves in a better position. They'll be 8-6 while Baltimore is 7-7 with 2 games left. But if they lose tonight, now they're even, and it's just going to be a toss-up between Pittsburgh and Baltimore who makes the playoffs. So Mike Tomlin gets fired. Even if they make the playoffs and lose in the first round, which they probably will, he might still get fired. So then he'd be a good coaching candidate, and he might work in college. So we'll see. So no, he didn't leave. No, he just might get fired anyway. He don't have to leave. He just get fired. And that's what's going to happen. Jason said, do you get paid to go on that show? On Jason Whitlock's show? No, they don't pay you to go on the show. This is media. All right. The main thing is you're a contributor. So when you do things like CNN, and it may on certain shows they do, you will, depending on how the show is designed. But many shows, let's say you go on CNN or MSNBC, they don't pay you just for appearing most of the time. I'm not saying every single show is like that. They don't pay you for appearing, but you do the appearance because, well, first of all, especially if someone has a big platform, you go on because you get to show yourself on their platform. Secondly, you contribute to the platform. And third, if you actually like the show, you want to have the conversation. So all three of those are useful. Jason Whitlock has a solid audience, and I like his show. I like his work, and I like his show. And I have a lot of things to say about that subject. So for all three reasons, a good reason for me to go on the show. And Terica said, I joined the fan club for 2 months. Thank you, Terica. Congratulations. Thank you, everybody, joining the fan club. So, Lee, you pinned the comment, but I didn't see it. So whatever comment you pinned, I didn't see it. He said, get a vasectomy if you don't want to use protection. Maybe he was trying to have more kids. He got 3 of them, so maybe he wasn't done. Obviously, his sperm still works. I mean, if he got the girl pregnant, he's still active out here in these streets. Keep on living for life said, Tiger Woods played individual sports, not coach young men and involved with young coworker. So what? The point that I made was that if you get a scandal on your name and then you start winning, then people forget about the scandal. That was the point. Now, Sharon Moore needs to go win, like Tiger Woods start winning. And Tiger Woods start winning, people forgot about the scandal. Remember he won that Masters and everybody was all cheering for him as if he survived cancer? It was because they like to see a comeback. Now, they trashed him when he was down, but as soon as he came back, everybody cheered. Same people were cheering for him. I call it the 95% rule. 95% of people are going to do whatever the crowd is doing. So if the crowd is trashing you, they will trash you. And if the crowd is cheering you, they will cheer you. It's just the way life works. It's a bandwagon business, all of life. Angel said they think they're untouchable. Andrea, if you win, you are untouchable. J. Rocker said Deshaun Watson stopped playing well. This is true. After that scandal, that's what happens. If a scandal comes in and you get exposed for whatever you were doing, it hurts. It takes away your mojo because now you're not in that zone anymore, even if the scandal had nothing to do with the main thing that you do. Tiger Woods' sex scandal had nothing to do with playing golf, but he lost his ability to play golf well because his dark side got exposed to the world. So he was embarrassed, and that made his performance worse. Same thing with Deshaun Watson. Now, Sharon Moore is not a player. He's a coach. But it's a similar issue on top of the fact that Sharon Moore doesn't have nearly the juice of either one of those other guys because he didn't have the track record that they had. So that's why he's in trouble. Tees and Jeans said, I agree with you. Thank you. DeAndrea said he was given an option to move her to another department or fire her. He fired her. Oh, he was given that option? Okay, I didn't know about that. He should have moved her to another department. See, cheaper to keep her, folks. Gentlemen out there, again, I'm not telling all you to do what this guy did. But I will tell you this, because we have real conversation over here. We talk practicality over here in this world. For those of you who are not familiar with my work. In my world, we talk practicality. Now, what does practicality mean, just to be clear? Practicality is what dark psychology is based on. All right. The moralism, which some of you have been preaching in these comments here today, like, hey, how about just stay faithful to your wife? I get it. I'm not saying you're wrong. Moralism is based in pop psychology, or pop psychology is based in moralism. Excuse me. Pop psychology is about what makes you feel good, what sounds right, what works well, what sounds good if you had to post it on a billboard in the middle of the city. That's pop psychology. Dark psychology is about practicality. Practicality is about what actually gets the outcome that I want, given the circumstances at hand, regardless of whether you think it's morally upstanding or not. So what I'm saying here is Sharon Moore. Okay, some of you say, hey, don't cheat on your wife. Okay, fine. But let's say he already decided he's going to cheat on his wife. He decided I'm going to have some sex outside of my relationship. Let's say that's already been decided because it ain't new. He ain't the only one doing it. And the woman knew he was married. Did she not? Okay, she did anyway. All right, this is the game. This is part of the game. He decides he's going to do that. Now, according to what DeAndrea is saying here, assuming that this is true, again, we're going to assume this is true, that he could have either moved her to another department or fired her. He decided to fire her. Now you got a woman scorned. This is stupid. All right, that's another stupid thing he did, if this is true. You don't have sex with a woman outside of your relationship, and then when it's found out and you have an option of cleaning it up, you fire the bitch because now she is mad. Oh, you had sex with me outside of your relationship, so now I could tell on your wife, I could tell on your job, I can get you fired, I can get you divorced, I can get you on alimony and child support, I can get your career ruined. All I gotta do is go tell on you, and you gonna fire me? Are you crazy? What he should have did was move her to another department with the same salary she was making before to keep her happy. As the saying goes, it is cheaper to keep her. And again, that's not even his wife. That's his mistress. It's cheaper to keep her. He should have got her moved to another department, got her a good job. He could have called any of the boosters at any of the Michigan boosters. This is what he could have did. He could have called any of the boosters at Michigan with all that money and said, hey, here's the situation, Mr. Booster. Let's say I'm a booster. He could have called me and said, look, Dre, look, I got a real situation right here that I want to talk to you about. He would have known he could have talked to me about it, and I wouldn't have judged him. I wouldn't have exposed him. He said, look, I've been messing with this chick outside my relationship. You know I'm married. You know I got 3 kids. You know I can't be doing this, and she works for me. All right, here's what I need to do. I need her to get her a good job. She got to make at least $90K a year to get her out of here and make sure that she stays quiet so that we're good moving forward and I don't lose my job. Can you help me with this? I say, no problem. Give me 15 minutes and make a couple calls. 15 minutes, I'm calling him back. I found 3 people willing to hire this chick at the same salary she was making before or a little bit more, all contingent on her keeping her damn mouth shut and never telling anybody that this happened. That would have been done just like that. That's what he should have did. He didn't do that. Again, assuming that this is true. That's dark psychology, ladies and gentlemen. All right, that's what the power presence is about. Now, you see that book right there that I keep talking about when I say I got a program based on communication? Part of communication is what frame you put around the things that you're deciding to do. And while I understand, yes, it'd be better to just stay with your wife and don't step outside of your relationship. I get it. But if that bridge has already been crossed, we still got something to solve here. We still got to figure out the situation as it is. Everybody understand what I'm saying here? That's dark psychology. And dark psychology is about let's get shit done regardless of how people feel about it and regardless of the moral judgments of the situation. So Turner said at halftime of the yeah, that came out. I don't know if that was already out, but that's what people are saying. So Black Scorpio say he's not doing anything these women allow. They keep bending over, so men keep putting it into him. No, that sounds simple enough. Black Scorpio. I got it. Turner said Chiefs Super Bowl drought starts now. Rest up, Mahomes. Yeah, so he's probably out this year and next year. Foster said it would be crazy to see Rivers and Rodgers play each other in the playoffs. Yeah, it might happen. They both got to make it though. Well, I think the Colts might make it. They lost yesterday, right? But they're in a pretty good spot. Jay Rocker says Steelers don't fire coaches. This is true. So Mike Tomlin might not get fired, but he might get fired. So we'll see. Christopher said, I've never seen a Steelers coach leave Pittsburgh and coach anywhere else. That's a good point. I haven't either. So they had before this was Bill Cowher. And who was the coach before that? I don't even remember. They keep their coaches for a long time. So Marky Man said the Raiders should take him. Maybe. Turner said bandwagon loving has been growing with social media. Yeah, well, social media created it pretty much. Tees and Jeans said you'll be surprised how many people consider a cheating spouse is a private matter. It is a private matter. I mean, the situation between a husband and wife is between the husband and wife. Why is anybody else, or how is it anybody else's business? Tiger Woods cheating on his wife is between Tiger Woods and his wife, which is why I never understood why he came out and made an apology to the PGA after he got caught cheating on his wife. Now, I understand literally he did it because he has sponsors and he's trying to protect his image and he had this squeaky clean image. So I understood literally why he did it. But again, in a practical way, what the hell are you apologizing to him for? I would have came out and said, yeah, I got caught cheating on my wife. Yeah, I was messing with all these chicks at, what was the name of that restaurant that he kept? I can't remember the name of the restaurant. What was the name of the restaurant that he kept having sex with the waitresses at? Tiger Woods. Anybody remember that? Perkins. It was called Perkins. So it's a place called Perkins. And he was having sex with all the waitresses. I would have came out and said, yeah, I was having sex with all these Perkins waitresses and these strippers and all that stuff. Yes, that's what I was doing. What's your question? What's your question, Mr. Reporter? What do you want to know, MSNBC? Yes, that's what I was doing. And what? That's what I said. And I would have kept playing golf and kept kicking everybody's ass. That way he would have stayed in his zone. But see, when he came out apologizing, he lost his zone. And everybody was no longer afraid of him on the golf course, even though, again, what he did had nothing to do with golf. So it's funny how that works, right? Your personal life and your professional life are intertwined, whether you want them to be or not. Meaning the mindset that you approach each one in. Chuck Noll, yes, that was the previous Steelers coach. That's right. Matt Witt says, true, she went to the AD with receipts after he fired her. Okay, so see, that was another dumb thing that Sharon Moore did. He shouldn't have fired her. He should have known as soon as you stick your thing into the girl, especially in a professional situation, you can't scorn. You can't have her scorned. You can't have her mad at you because she could use whatever you did against you. See, that was his mistake. He should have known better. He should have talked to me. He should have had me as his coach. I would have helped him with this. I would have helped him find a soft landing space for that girl, and none of this would have been a problem. He would still be the coach right now, making his $5 million a year. But since he didn't come to me, now he lost all of it. Sharon. Trizzy said, you can't sleep with anyone, though, especially at the workplace. Well, you can if your team is undefeated and you beat Ohio State. If you coach at Auburn and you beat Alabama and you're undefeated, you can sleep with anybody you want. If you coach at Oklahoma and you beat Oklahoma State, you can sleep with anybody you want. So, this is the way it works, folks. All you gotta do is win that rivalry game. You win that rivalry game and go undefeated, you can sleep with anybody you want, male or female. All right, don't matter. Ashley Mack said, what's in your four walls, no one's business. Generally correct. Clay Ed Gray said Chuck Noll. Yeah, Chuck Noll was a coach, yes. Mark says private till is all public. That's right. Trizzy said Perkins is different than your workplace. Yes, I get it. But the whole point is Tiger Woods came out and apologized for something that had nothing to do with his job. There's no contract in the PGA that says you can't cheat on your wife. The PGA just says show up to the tournaments and play golf. He apologized to the PGA for something that had nothing to do with the PGA. And he lost all his mojo when he did it. That was the problem. Yeah, the college rivalry games, that's the thing. Trizzy said, yeah, when you're a CEO, you can go to Coldplay concerts with your mistress. Yeah, now see, that was another thing. We talked about that, Trizzy. I don't know if you were here when I talked about that. The cheating CEO. I did a live stream or two talking about that guy. What he was dumb doing was going to the concert. He shouldn't have went to the concert because clearly he'd been messing with that chick before the day of that concert. You go to a concert in the town that you live with 60,000 other people there and you hugged up with a woman that's not your wife, you don't think it might be one or two people there that might know that you're married? Of 60,000 people, again, that's not even assuming you don't end up on a jumbotron just walking out of the building. You got to walk in the building. You might go to the concession stand and get some popcorn and some beer. You walking out of the building with the girl on your arm. Ain't somebody going to see you like, hey, Mike, who's that? That ain't your wife. He didn't think about that. That's the part that was stupid. It wasn't the fact that he was messing with the girl. It's the fact that he went to a public place in his own town with the girl with 60,000 other people there. There ain't a chance that somebody that knows you wouldn't see you there. That's why he was dumb. And again, all these men out there, any of you men, if you're in a position of power, you're in a position of status, and you're thinking about doing some things that are maybe not morally on the up and up, but you want to figure out how you can navigate it and do it the right way, please text me. Please call me. My number, text me, 305-384-6894. I coach people on this. I'm not joking. I am being, in some of these, I'm being facetious, but I'm not joking. I do coach people on this stuff. And this is what dark psychology is about. Like, okay, what you're doing is not something you want the whole world to know about, but you're doing it anyway. How do we make sure this works as cleanly as possible? I coach people on these things. So Sharon Moore and the cheating CEO both should have called me, and neither one of them had the problems that they have. Because they both did something stupid that they shouldn't have did. And the stupid thing they did was not having sex outside of their relationship. Stupid thing they did was how they did it. Not what they did, but how they did it. Because the reality is, folks, these kind of things happen. All right, the game is the game. My company's called Work on Your Game for a reason. All right, Girlie said he needs to call Ime's PR and legal team. Yeah, Ime Udoka. He's another one. He was the coach of the Boston Celtics. He was having sex with a woman in the executive staff. He lost his relationship with Nia Long, the woman he was dating. They weren't married. Excuse me. But he got another job coaching the Houston Rockets, and he's still coaching. And Houston Rockets are very good. And he is noted as a very good coach. So the fact that he's a very good coach made all the scandal around his name pretty much disappear in about a year because he's a good coach. That's the way it works. Trizzy says, different when you're their boss is HR 101. Yeah, I talked about that at the beginning of this live. I don't know if you were here. Christopher said that Jumbotron got him. Yeah, it did. But the fact that he even went to the concert was a stupid move. It wasn't the Jumbotron. It was the fact that he was there. Because again, what if your wife's cousin was at the concert and saw you just walking in or walking out of the venue? What if they just saw you in the car? Yeah, who's that woman you in the car with? That's what I'm saying. D Miz 30 said, women in power can cheat too. Can you coach them too? Yes, I can. I have female coaching clients. I'm not saying all my female coaching clients are asking me to help them cheat. I'm saying, yes, I coach women and men. The point is, I coach people on practicality, not what makes you feel good, but what actually gets the outcome. Those are two different things. A lot of people say they want to get the outcome, but what they really want is what makes them feel good. But if you want to get the outcome, then sometimes we got to put other considerations to the side. Turner said, all facts. Dre comes with unbiased facts and straightforward. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I do these live streams Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern, and usually sometimes we'll go to 10, but sometimes we'll stop them around 9:30. It's about 9:30 right now when I get through the comments. So usually we talk about current events, whatever's happening. I think tomorrow we'll probably be talking about whatever the result is. We want to call it fallout, but result is from this announced meeting. If y'all didn't hear me talk about this at the beginning of this live stream, Erica Kirk announced, if y'all didn't see this, Erica Kirk announced last night at about 8 o'clock that Candace Owens and I, this is Charlie Kirk's widow, Charlie Kirk's wife, Erica Kirk from Turning Point USA. Candace Owens and I are meeting for a private in-person discussion on Monday, December 15th. That's today. Candace and I have agreed that public discussions, live streams, and tweets are on hold until after this meeting. I look forward to a productive conversation. Thank you. That means that live stream that TP USA was going to do today, and Candace Owens is going to live stream and talk about it and talk shit about them. That would have been the topic tomorrow, guaranteed. That was absolutely guaranteed in ink on the calendar. But now that live stream is not going to happen, Erica Kirk just said all live streams are on hold. So TP USA is not doing that live stream today because the boss said no live stream. Whatever comes out of this meeting that is announced by Erica and Candace, that's what we'll probably talk about tomorrow, assuming that they announce something. So I'm going to assume, here's my assumption for what happens in this meeting. These are two females, both of them grieving a lost loved one, her husband and a father to her children, and the other one, a good friend. Both of them grieving a lost loved one. They're women. They're both emotional. I'm 95% sure they will come to a positive accord from this meeting. I don't think they're going to come out of it mad at each other and talking shit. I highly doubt that happens. I think that this is going to come out peaceful, and that Erica's going to say something that, there's an olive branch here, and Candace is going to say there's an olive branch here. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I guarantee both of them are going to say something, because Candace Owens does have a podcast, and she does have to keep her podcast going. So it's going to be interesting to see where she goes from here, assuming that is not continuing to bash Turning Point USA. I'm pretty sure there'll be an announcement, and the announcement is going to be that they chilled things out and it's cool. That's what I'm guessing. My guess is it's cool, but I was wrong before. I thought Turning Point USA was going to sue Candace for defamation, but if this meeting goes well, they can't sue her for defamation because she's the boss. Turning Point USA is Erica Kirk. So if they're cool after this, they won't sue her for defamation. Not they can't, they won't. So we'll see where this goes. So I'm thinking that'll be the topic tomorrow, but I don't know. If they don't announce anything, then we have other things on the docket to discuss. So it's usually a current event, whatever's happening in the news, whatever I find interesting. And that's how we decide what to talk about. So any of you wondering what tomorrow's topic is, answer is we don't know. It depends on what's happening. Sometimes I can tell you guaranteed the day before, like if the election was today, and I say, all right, tomorrow we're definitely talking about the outcome, like Trump versus Kamala. That I can guarantee. But other things we never know till it happens. Like Charlie Kirk, we didn't know that was going to happen. So everybody, Jay Bird said, do I think Candace is going to back off? Well, what I'm thinking is they're going to have a positive conversation. And I think Erica and Candace having a one-on-one in-person discussion, they are going to be cool and they're going to be friendly after this is over, which means Candace is going to stop trashing Turning Point USA. So if that's what you're asking, then the answer is yes. I think she's going to stop trashing Turning Point USA because I think Erica realized Turning Point USA can't win this battle between them and Candace Owens. She's better at it. She has a bigger audience. She has all the momentum. She's a better speaker than anybody they have on their roster, including Erica. And if they let this keep going, they're going to lose. And they know they're losing, which is why I think Erica Kirk is smart to have this meeting. Because the men that they had going out there trying to combat Candace were all failing. So this is a smart move by Turning Point USA. We'll see what Candace does with it. It's a very smart move by them. I don't know if this is smart by Candace. I don't know. We got to see. Jay Bird said, will she stop looking for who shot him? That's the questionable part. I don't know what Candace is going to do after this. That's what I'm saying. I think Erica's going to try to, on some level, get Candace to chill out on bashing Turning Point USA because this is hurting Turning Point. They're getting dragged through the mud right now by somebody who's better at it than they are. They don't have anyone on her level, and that's why they have to stop this. So this is a smart move by Erica Kirk and Turning Point USA. And Erica's the only person on their team who can do this, who can make this happen. What Candace is going to do with this, we don't know. So I can't answer that question yet. But we can't be violent. I think peace is good. I think peace is a good thing. So peace between women. We don't want this to become a catty bitches fight between the two of them, because if it did, then Candace would win. And then she'd probably get sued. And that would just make things more messy. I'd rather things stay above board and let's just battle in the marketplace of ideas. I'm okay with battling in the marketplace of ideas, but women are different than men. So I think this is going to somehow end the Candace Owens search for the killer saga, whatever you want to call this. I think this is a soft landing place for Candace to just pretty much end it and say, hey, I had a conversation with Erica. We're cool, so I'm not going to talk about it anymore. She can just say that's the reason. And now I'm going to stop. She don't even have to explain all the things she threw out there and where did they go. She could just say, I'm not going to talk about it anymore because Erica asked me not to and we're cool. She could use that. This is a good out for Candace too, because now she doesn't have to tie up any of these loose ends that she has created. And I don't think she's bad in doing what she's done, but this is a good way for her to end it without having to draw conclusions to anything. So this is an out clause for her and is an out clause for Turning Point USA. So I think it's a win-win for both sides if that happens. Now, I might be wrong about all this. They might come out sniping at each other, which just takes us continuing down the path we're already on. But I think I'm right about this. We will see. We should know about tomorrow morning, and we'll talk about it. And then we'll see where we go from there. That's all I can say. So why are they meeting? Because my guess is that Erica Kirk realized that if Candace Owens keeps podcasting and we keep doing what we're doing, Candace Owens is going to win because she's a better speaker than us. She has a bigger audience. She has more momentum. She's a better arguer than us. We don't have anybody on our team who can combat her directly. So how about I go meet with her in person and just level with her on a human level to chill out and stop bashing us because we're getting our asses kicked. That's what I think happened. I don't know because it wasn't announced why they're meeting. Well, they're meeting to have a conversation. That's what they're meeting for, to have an in-person discussion. Everybody knows the situation. So that's why it's happening. Now, how it happened, who called who, we don't know, and we may never know. I'm fine if we never know. So tomorrow we'll talk about this. It looks like we're going to be talking about this tomorrow either way. So I want to give away tomorrow's topic because I want to see what the outcome is. I want to see what Erica says after all of this. And I want to see what Candace Owens says after all of this. So Erica's post has 9 million views, by the way, since she put it out. And Candace's response was said, I'm very much looking forward to this meeting, has another 3 million views. So that's where we are now. Neither one of them has said anything since then. So that's the situation. So I don't know what else we can say about this. So one thing that I can say is that today I will be on, I don't know if I'm going to be on Fearless or will be Harmony. I think it's Harmony. So yes. So I'm going to be on Harmony with Jason Whitlock today. Y'all know Jason Whitlock? Y'all listen to Jason Whitlock's show? So I'll be on Jason Whitlock's show, Harmony, today. He does his regular show, Fearless, where he talks like news, which is often sports based because Jason Whitlock has a sports journalist's background. And then he does Harmony, where he talks about other things that might be sports related, but might not. And we'll be talking to Erica Kirk, Candace Owens meeting situation. We'll be talking about that today on Harmony, Jason Whitlock. That usually comes out later in the afternoon, maybe 3, 4 o'clock Eastern. So any of you listen to Jason Whitlock, you can look that up. It'll be on there. And what else? That's it. I don't think there's anything else to say, folks. Jeffrey D says, Jason Whitlock, a sports commentator. He's a sports journalist, but now everybody is on screens now because nobody reads anymore. So he does his stuff through a podcast and on YouTube. But he also talks about things that are not sports related, Jeffrey. So I wouldn't say similar to me. I'm not a sports journalist, but he talks about things that are not sports related. So on his show, he does. I listen to his show even when I'm not on it. So I'll be on that today. So that's the deal, everybody. If you want to get in touch with me about my coaching, about my books, or anything else, just send a text to my number, 305-384-6894. 303-884-6894. If you want to get a copy of this book, this red book you see behind me, just text the number 3. Send me a text. Just put the number 3 in the text and the number again, 305-384-6894. Everybody got it? My weekly motivation text is coming out in about 20 minutes. So if you want to get my weekly motivation that I send out every week, just text me. One of my moderators, yes, thank you, Leah, putting that number in there. 305-384-6894. I send out a weekly motivation every Monday. You want to get that text, just text me at that number right there. I send out a daily motivation every day. Daily motivation is $5 a month, but if you don't want that, you don't have to sign up. Just text me. You're in it free. It costs you nothing. 305-384-6894. Weekly motivation comes out at 10 o'clock. And then daily motivation comes out every day. If you want to get that, you have an option to. You don't have to take that option. And you'll find out about my other stuff. So my books, you'll get text about that. My coaching, all that, you'll get text about that. Just text me at that number. That's the best way to reach me is my number. 305-384-6894. Everybody got that? So y'all can watch out for Jason Whitlock's show, Harmony, later on today. I'll be on it. I was on it last, I think Friday. I was on the last Friday episode too. So y'all can check the last one that came out on Friday. And this one will be out today. And then we'll be back here tomorrow, 8 a.m. Eastern, normal time. Who knows what we're talking about? We'll see. Because I don't know if we'll get feedback on this Erica Kirk, Candace Owens thing or not. If we don't, we got other things to discuss. Don't worry. So we'll see you all tomorrow morning. Thank you, Leah. Thank you to my moderators. Thanks to the regulars in here. Thanks to the new people who are in here. Thanks to all the commentators. I will see you all tomorrow, 8 a.m. Eastern. Everybody have a great Monday. We're out of here. Work on your game.